Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Technique Week continues today by using embossing to trap the watercolor into an area on watercolor paper. For my image today, I'm using Postcard Pals stamp set. This is a really fun stamp set and it just yells at me to add watercoloring. One of my viewers on YouTube has asked to give a little more information on stamping an image on watercolor paper and then adding clear embossing powder. So the first step is to use the soft or the smooth side of the watercolor paper, treat it with the embossing buddy, stamp it in black dye Memento ink, then sprinkle immediately that clear embossing powder and then heat set it. It's really just that simple. You could do this with any color ink that you like. Say for example you wanted to use Night of Navy ink from Stampin' Up. Then as long as you add that embossing powder, the clear powder, very quickly, then heat set your image, then you will have trapped that ink underneath the embossing. So that's basically a wonderful technique to be able to use for watercoloring, because when you use embossing, the watercolor or the fluid does not leave that particular area. I'll give you an example and you can see how I'm adding the purple into the platypus. This was a purple platypus. Who can resist adding purple to a platypus? So what I'm doing is working in sections, and I have added one section at a time, first by adding water to that area and then picking up some diluted color and letting it react, and it stays in the area. So you can see here the area of his vest is not leaving the stamped lines of the vest. Same thing for his little neckerchief and the contours of his different pieces of the stamped image. This is my easy way to achieve success with watercoloring. So I don't know the exact technique other than watercoloring a heat embossed image. So that's what we'll call it, watercoloring an embossed image. Because I stamped this on watercolor paper, I have two options. The first one would be to cut the image out with some dies which are not available for this stamp set. So I could fussy cut it and place it on any sort of a background, or I can add color to this particular watercolor piece and know that when I add it to the background, it's not going to jump that wall of embossing and affect my image, because that wall of embossing is protecting everything. It really is the most easy way for me to be able to watercolor a stamped image. If you wanted to do a different technique such as no line watercoloring, this might not be your go-to technique because you're going to want to do something different. So this is just a standard watercolored image. I added some flicks with a watercolor brush, and now I'm adding my sentiment directly onto this panel. And this is a very small panel. It's not going to take up all of the card. I'm mounting it on another piece of designer series paper, and that paper is on sale this week. Buy 3 get 1 free from Stampin' Up. It's all during the month of July, and it's a wonderful way to build up the variety of designer paper that you have in your craft stash. I love the pattern paper. It's wonderful. This is Graceful Glass, and it's a piece of vellum, and I thought it would be just enough to bring out those black lines of the stamped image and the sentiment to feature. And it also looks like a bit of a net, and this is an aquatic theme stamp set. It seems to me like it is. So I'm adding another platypus on the inside of the card and continuing that stamped sentiment. Now, first one I did was really crooked, so I flipped over the paper. Thank goodness we can do that. And now I'll add it to the inside of the card. Very simple. I hope that you are enjoying Technique Week this week, and from the comments that I've been receiving at my blog and here on my YouTube channel, I think you guys are. So this is an open invitation to ask me to demonstrate other techniques or a particular stamp set. I'm very happy to help. You can shop by clicking Shop Now at jennyhalldesign.com or visit the video description here, and there's clickable links. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.